Coast Toastmasters several years ago. Tonight, Pamela will deliver speech number 7 from the Competent Communicator Manual, Research Your Topic. The title of her speech is, Your Thoughts Are Killing You. Please give a warm welcome to Pamela Beck.
So we have power over what we believe, but what we believe has power over us. Listen to that again. We have power over what we believe, but what we believe has power over us. Now let's think about this. Our thoughts, our perceptions, our belief systems, they all control who we are today. How we were raised, where we were raised, our different cultures, religious beliefs, the schools we were raised in, were we bullied, were we loved. All of these things control who we are today, our experiences. But what if tonight these experiences are causing you to still have some negative belief systems? If you are having negative belief systems, this is what causes stress in our life. And then this stress makes our body become toxic. So let me ask you a question. How many thoughts do you think your mind creates in a day? Just take a guess.
60,000.
12,000. Our brain creates 30,000 thoughts a day, whether we want it to or not. So we're in constant communication with ourselves all day long. Our brain is also a muscle, so it can be retrained. It's just like if you're running a marathon or if you're lifting weights, you have to use it. This is called neuroplasticity, and this is actually when you change your thoughts, you can actually create a new neural pathway, okay? But this takes practice. 87% of all mental and physical illness begins with a thought. So what you think about can cause stress, and then that stress can cause your body to become toxic. So let me tell you how stress kind of works in our life. So, before I came up here, I'm experiencing fear. My heart is racing, my blood pressure's up. This is the part of our brain that's called the amygdala, the fight or flight part. This is connected to the hypothalamus, which is also connected to the pituitary gland. And the pituitary gland, it goes down into the adrenal gland, and that's when your body starts producing adrenaline and glucocortisols, and your body's just pumping with this. This is giving your body 1,400 toxic chemicals right now. My body's freaking out, okay? And so whenever it goes back up into the hypothalamus, then it goes into your prefrontal cortex where you can reason and think, and you can say, okay, calm yourself down. Well, right now, I'm not calming myself down, so I'm still pumping. Well, these stress hormones is what causes our bodies to become toxic. Another example of this is, say you're walking in the park, and all of a sudden you see something black and slithery out of the corner of your eye. So your body starts pumping, right? And so then you're looking, your body's pumping the cortisol, and all of a sudden you look back again and you see that it's just a rubber hose. So you're able to reason and think, and it's able to calm yourself down. So this is how stress affects our bodies. So we have to learn how to calm ourselves. So let's think about our thoughts. Thoughts can keep us in the past, or our thoughts can keep us in the future. And what that means is that we're not present, we're not connected to ourselves today, and that keeps us, our energy down. Sometimes our thoughts can keep us in constant worry, constantly worrying and rehearsing that something might happen in the future. Or it can keep us in the past thinking about a fight you may have just had with a spouse or a co-worker. And so your mind's constantly thinking about, I can't believe she said that, and the next time I'm going to tell them this. Our thoughts can also interpret what's happening through past experiences. This is where you can pick up belief systems about yourself that aren't necessarily true. And you can actually create a tormentor in your mind to where you actually call yourself names. I'm not smart, or I'm an idiot, or those types of things. So let's take a boy. He's in the 5th grade and he loves math. And all of a sudden he has a new concept. And the teacher doesn't teach him well. And the teacher says, you don't know what you're doing. So then this boy in the 5th grade creates a negative thought pattern. And so he goes, I can't do math. And so he feels like he's stupid. So then he's in 7th, 8th, 9th grade thinking he's no good at math, but then he gets a 9th grade teacher that takes an interest in who he is. And he teaches him how to do math, and all of a sudden the light comes back on, and he realizes, I can do math. So now he's got a negative thought pattern that now is woken up, and so he has a positive thought, and the negative dissipates. When you're raised in a home where there's trauma and abuse, you can actually alter your brain's circulatory system. So the part of your brain that's fear-based is overdeveloped, and the part of your brain that needs to be nurtured and loved is underdeveloped. And that's what happened to me in my childhood. So I had a father. He was full-blooded Italian. My grandfather was in the mafia, and he was actually a hitman. So you can see the craziness already coming down. For whatever reason, my father hated women. He loved war movies when I was growing up. But every time a woman came onto the scene, my dad would go crazy, going, I hate these women. So I began to learn women aren't good. I had 4 brothers, and he would take them fishing and hunting and to baseball games. And I would say, Dad, I want to go. He goes, you're a girl, you can't go. And my dad also used to tell me I was a bad seed. So what did I learn growing up? Women are bad, i.e. I'm bad. So I learned self-hatred during that time. And it took me years of therapy to figure out that my dad was full of crap. He wasn't right. But literally years of therapy to be able to change my thought process. And I had to literally practice this over and over again after I received this truth. Now science is finally caught up with the scriptures. Back in Proverbs it says, as a man thinks in his mind, so is he. Well, now they know that there's 40,000 brain neurons in the heart, identical to the ones that are in the brain or in the heart. And they can actually see the will on brain scans. And when they can see the will, it's actually connected from the brain, the neurons in the brain into the neurons into the heart. I just thought that was absolutely fascinating. So our job is to begin to analyze our thoughts so that we can decide whether we're going to accept a thought or whether we're not going to accept a thought. So what does this look like? Well, we have a relationship with ourselves, and this is called internal communication. We have the ability to interact with ourselves mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We have the ability to negotiate, accept ourselves, trust ourselves, nurture, forgive ourselves, while even we need to learn to love ourselves. And if you don't know how to do this, then that's when you create lies and false perceptions and criticism about yourself. Okay? And this causes separation within yourself. So let me give you an example of this. If I come over to Rush and I call Rush an idiot, you're really an idiot, Rush. What does that do? It immediately separates us, right? I've offended him, I've hurt him, and he's mad at me. So what do I have to do to restore that relationship? I have to say I'm sorry, and hopefully he'll forgive me. Well, think about us doing that to ourselves. You ever had a time where you've done something stupid and you walk away and you go, wow, that was really, really bad. So we have to it's really important that we watch what our thoughts are so that we can change our thought pattern. But the good news is that you can grow your brain at will. Okay? So research they've shown study that if you meditate 10 minutes days on the love-based emotions, compassions and peace and joy, forgiveness and gratefulness, and begin to act out of that, it actually changes the brain structures. In only 4 days, I forgot to tell you that. It actually starts changing in just 4 days. So remember, we have power over what we believe, but what we believe has power over us.